Imagine being so dominant, so revolutionary that if you played today, you would have a $1 billion sneaker deal, 200 million followers, and every kid trying your moves on TikTok. But instead, you played in an era where most of your greatest moments live only in memories, no viral clips, no HD highlights, just stories. That was Elgin Baylor. And here's the crazy part. Without him, the Lakers might not even exist in Los Angeles. When people talk about the greatest forwards ever, you hear names like Michael Jordan, Julius Erving, maybe even LeBron James. But the blueprint, the original aerial showman, that was Elgin Baylor, and somehow he is the legend nobody talks about enough. How different would NBA history look if one decision went the other way? Because in 1958, the Minneapolis Lakers, slow roster, aging stars, losing games, losing money. The owner literally admitted later that if Baylor had turned him down, the franchise would have gone bankrupt. No move to Los Angeles, no Showtime era, no purple and gold dynasty as we know it. Think about that. That is the pressure Elgin walked into before even playing a single NBA game. Act 1 is about survival. Baylor was not some polished prodigy with a perfect path. Born in Washington, D.C. in 1934, he was a high school star but struggled academically. At one point, he dropped out and worked in a furniture store. Imagine that. Okay, next one. One of the most gifted players in basketball history, stacking couches during the day. Sounds unreal, right? Eventually, he got another shot at college ball after a stop at Idaho, and then Seattle University. He exploded onto the national scene, taking Seattle all the way to the 1958 NCAA championship game. He averaged over 31 points in college. 31 in an era when scoring was not inflated. So when the Lakers took him with the #1 overall pick in 1958, this was not just a draft selection. This was desperation. This was hope. This was their last breath, and Baylor delivered instantly. As a rookie, he averaged nearly 25 points and 15 rebounds. Let that sink in. A rookie forward putting up center numbers on the boards while scoring like a superstar. He dropped 55 in a game. He made the All-Star team. He won Rookie of the Year, and the Lakers improved by 14 wins. They even made the NBA Finals. But here is the first heartbreak. They ran into the Boston Celtics dynasty led by Bill Russell, and they got swept. And if you think that was a one-time thing, just wait, because Act 2 is dominance mixed with cruel timing. In 1960, the Lakers moved west to Los Angeles. New city, new market, new pressure, and Baylor became the face of basketball on the West Coast. That season, he averaged 34.8 points per game. Then came November 15, 1960. Baylor dropped 101 points, I think, as the New York once. With 25 rebounds, no three-point line, no spacing like today, just pure skill and midair body control. Here is where it gets wild. Former players said that game was not even unusual for him. It was just typical Baylor. Imagine someone dropping 71 today and people shrugging like that is just him. He was not just scoring, he was floating, changing the ball midair, twisting his body, finishing from impossible angles. Long before YouTube mixtapes, Baylor was the mixtape. But the league did not stop being cruel. In 1961 to 62, Baylor averaged 38 3 points per game, 38, and he did it while serving in the military. Oh, next one. He was literally stationed at Fort Lewis and could only play on weekends with special passes. Think about that for a second. Most players today load manage for minor soreness. Baylor was balancing Army duty and dropping almost 40 a night. That season, alongside a young Jerry West, the Lakers reached the finals again. Game 7, overtime against the Celtics, and they lost again. Let me pause here. Imagine pouring everything into a season, dropping 61 points in a finals game, which at the time was a layoff for record, carrying a franchise, battling legends, and still walking away empty. How many players break mentally at that point? Because the Celtics were not done, they kept winning. 11 championships in 13 seasons, and Baylor's prime ran directly into that storm. In 1962 to 63, he became the first player ever to finish top 5 in scoring, rebounding, assists, and free throw percentage. That is not just scoring, that is all-around dominance. He averaged 34 points, over 14 rebounds, and nearly 5 assists. Today we would call that an MVP lock, but he never won the scoring title. Why? Because he shared the era with Wilt Chamberlain. Cruel timing again? And then came the injuries. Knee problems started haunting him in the mid-60s. He was still elite, still making all NBA first teams, still leading the Lakers deep into the playoffs. But something was slightly different, slightly diminished, just enough. In 1965, they reached the finals again, lost to Boston. In 1966, another finals loss. In 1968, another loss. In 1969, a heartbreaking Game 7 defeat after leading the series 3-2. You can feel the pattern, right? Every time he climbed the mountain, something pushed him back down. And here's the cliffhanger you probably did not know. In 1971 to 72, Baylor's knees were finally done. He played just 9 games before retiring at age 37. Later that same season, the Lakers won the championship. Let that sit with you. 14 seasons, 8 finals appearances, no ring, and the year he retires, they finally win. That is Act 3. Okay, next one, legacy without validation. In today's ring culture, people would use that against him. They would say, well, he never won, but that misses the entire story. Baylor did not just play the game, he changed it. Okay, next one. He was the first true aerial artist, the prototype for the modern wing scorer. Strong enough to post up centers like Russell, skilled enough to handle and pass like guards. creative enough to twist in midair before anyone else imagined it. Many of his best plays were never filmed. Think about that tragedy for a second. A generational highlight reel lost to time. Okay, next one. After retirement, he coached the New Orleans Jazz. Later, he became an executive for the Los Angeles Clippers and even won Executive of the Year in 2006. His journey was not smooth there either. There were lawsuits, controversy, frustration, but his impact on the game never faded. In 2018, the Lakers unveiled his statue outside what is now Crypto.com Arena, standing alongside names like Shaquille O'Neal and Magic Johnson, finally a permanent reminder of the man who saved the franchise decades earlier. And in 2021, Elgin Baylor passed away at age 86. So here's the real question. What defines greatness? Rings or revolution? Because without Baylor, maybe there is no modern high-flying forward. Maybe there is no West Coast dynasty. Maybe the Lakers disappear in the 1950s and MB writes itself entirely. He averaged 27.4 points and 13.5 rebounds for his career, 10 All-NBA first-team selections, 11 All-Star appearances, 8 finals trips, and yet somehow he remains underrated. That is the tragedy and the beauty. He was ahead of his time. Too early for viral fame, too early for endorsement empires. Okay, next one. Too early for the media machine that turns stars into global icons. But among the players who saw him, there was no debate. They knew. So next time someone talks about the greatest forwards ever, ask them this. Okay, next one. Do you know who built the blueprint? And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of basketball's forgotten revolutionaries, you are going to love the next video on your screen. It is called The Court Insider, where we break down untold NBA power stories and behind-the-scenes moments that shaped the league in ways fans rarely see. Okay, next one. Click into that right now and let's keep uncovering the hidden layers of basketball history together.